Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So welcome to 29 weeks. What's today? Wait, how many weeks am I? It is 29 weeks. Yes. May 11th, 28 and 1. I always wake up hungry. Had a dream that I came back from Vietnam and had the baby, skipped the entire labor process. My baby was beautiful. She was my complexion with straight silky black hair. First day, her eyes were closed, but I spent the entire dream trying to figure out how to feed her because I couldn't produce milk even though she was latching well. I was worried, but she never cried. Next day, her eyes were open and she was so beautiful. And I was able to feed Chase, and I was able to feed her. Baby gets the hiccups a lot. In real life, baby gets the hiccups a lot and she be thumping. I call it thumping. She be thumping because it feels like thumps. It's like boom, boom. May 12th, 28 and 2. Today is actually my grandfather's birthday. He passed away last summer. Today he would have been 91. But anyway, it's also Mother's Day. Blake got me my first Mother's Day flowers. He got me 100 pink roses, y'all. They were beautiful. And I drove to my mom's house, and my mom made pound cake, and I ate pound cake, and she had some like really good raspberry cake. I ate that, and we had strawberry ice cream, and we watched movies, and we just hung out. I went to see my grandmother. My grandmother told me I was carrying well. I was like, okay. Now, if my grandmother says that. So anyway, Mother's Day was really nice. My first unofficial Mother's Day. May 13th, 28 and 3. I ate 2 slices of cake for breakfast. One of each. One of the pound cake and one of the raspberry one. And I was like, damn, I'm having my glucose tolerance test in a couple days. I should by the time I have it, the sugar should be out my system, right? So I was like, it's okay. Like, it's good. I'll just eat some salmon to even things out. I drove home on that day. It was Monday. I drove home that day. I dropped off some clothes at Goodwill and yeah, just went home. That's it. May 14th, 28 and 4. I worked today. My director said something really rude. Oh, I'm having really bad heartburn today. Yeah, I was having really bad heartburn earlier this week. Like, my throat, it just felt like, ugh. It felt like it was just burning in my throat. And I'm like, damn, this girl getting some hair on her. My director, what happened was, my director, she's Haitian Creole. And she's always been really, really nice to me. And I never had an issue with her. It was one of those like, yeah, we black kind of things. And I always really like her. And so what happened was, I was working with my other coworker, and she said, are you delivering with us? Because I work in a hospital. I work on a labor floor. And I said, no, I'm going to be delivering at XYZ. And she kind of just made this face at me. I was just like, oh, okay. And she said, so they have OBs there? Because, it's a midwifery birthing center. I said, no, it's just like 7 midwives. And she was like, oh, Pierre, you should know better than that. Because we work in OB, and we work in a hospital, I guess it felt like she was trying to say, like, I should know better than to get a midwife. I should get a doctor. Like, a midwife is not as good as a doctor. And I was just kind of like, excuse me, like, they have doctorate degrees, like, and they teach more holistic care. Just because they're a doctor doesn't mean they're better than a midwife, because midwives have nursing experience. They deal hands-on directly with patients because they were nurses at one point. And like, a lot of people, doctors get a lot of, doctors know a lot. I'm not gonna lie, they do a lot of schooling. They know a lot, but when it comes to that personal, like, intuitive care where you like know your patient, it's kind of like when you have a kid and you know your kid. You know what I mean? It's like after a while, when you become a nurse, you become like kind of intuitive of your patients when you start seeing the same things over and over again. And as a midwife with a doctorate's degree, they know quite a bit of information, and they're giving, and I'm really low risk. So I told her, I'm low risk, like, it's fine. She was just like, just had this attitude, and I was just like, okay, I didn't like that feeling. And then my coworker, he knows that if I were to deliver at the hospital that I work at, I would only deliver there if there was something really wrong, because I know at the end of the day, they would take care of me and make sure things go well. It's a trauma center, so, if something's wrong, then it's the best place to be. So he was like, well, if you do end up having to deliver here, maybe we could put you under a pseudonym. And I told him, because he knows that, like, I don't want people up in my business, because when you work in a hospital, especially let's say just the, like sometimes they can be kind of nosy and they'll know you're like, oh, Pierre's here, or oh, like on the board, it'll kind of tell you like a gist of what's going on with you. So I'm like, I don't want them being able to see like what's going on with me, or like, you know, talking to my nurse and finding out what's going on with me. And so I was just like, I had said, can I have like I didn't say, can I have a fake name? He suggested I get a pseudonym so they don't know. And I was like, I don't think they do that. And she was like, well, why wouldn't they do that? They do it for certain patients that like unidentified patients for like trauma, like certain patients that don't want to be known. We do that for them. And I was like, I mean, I guess. So when he said it in a way like he knows for sure that they do that for like employees. So I turned to her and I said, do you do that? Can I get a pseudonym? Not that I would, it would matter. She just looked at me, didn't say anything. And I was like, can I get a pseudonym? And she didn't say anything again. So I turned back to him. I was like, it doesn't even matter because everyone's going to know it's me because everyone talks. And so he's like, yeah, okay. And then she said, Pierre, what are you, Beyonce? Yes. She said, what are you, Beyonce? Get over yourself. And I was like, what? I was like, what? And she was like, just come in, have your baby, and go. You're thinking way too much into this. And I was like, I mean, it's my first child, my first baby. It's my baby anyway. Like, it's my baby. Like, why? I need to look too much into this. Like, especially knowing the things I know. Like, what? Like, so many people come into this thinking it's all cupcakes and rainbows. And I know, like, shit happens. Like, I've literally wrapped up babies, like, and sent them to the morgue, okay? So, no, it's serious. Like, things happen in labor. Things happen in childbirth, pregnancy, whatever. It's like, I know what I'm doing. Like, yeah, there's risk going to a midwifery center. There's risk delivering at home. I mean, there's probably more risk delivering at home, honestly, more than all the three. And there's risk delivering in the hospital. Like, a lot of times when you come to the hospital, especially if you're being induced, we induce you. So we're trying to make your body do something it's not ready to do. We give Pitocin, and Pitocin is a drug or synthetic form of oxytocin, which is a something your brain naturally makes to induce you into labor. It's a pleasure hormone as well. And we give it to you to induce your labor, and it can be really strong sometimes. And sometimes when we do it, like in the hospital, I'm gonna be honest, it's a business. So sometimes like we can rush people's processes. And sometimes when it gets rushed too quickly, it could cause you to your baby not to be able to tolerate the contractions, because progress meaning like you're contracting too often. And if your baby can't tolerate those constant contractions, your baby's heart rate can drop. And of course that leads to a stat C-section. So I said that to her. I said, excuse me, we have patients that have stat C-sections like all the time because we overdo it with the pit. We call it Pitocin pit. With the pit, I don't want to be like those girls. Like, I want to naturally go into labor and naturally birth the way my body wants to do it. Now, given if I'm 41 weeks and I haven't delivered and I need to be induced, I mean, shoot, that's just what I gotta deal with. But if everything's going the way it needed to go right now, I'm gonna stick with that. And she was just like, she was just saying rude and had this attitude. And like, I felt like I had to like defend my choices. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I didn't even offer you this information. You asked me where I was delivering. Nobody asked you for your biased opinion. Like, nobody asked you anything. And I felt really some type of way. Like, I like went into the bathroom. I like walked away, went to the bathroom. I stayed there until she left. And yeah, I was just really, really pissed off about that. I came back out and I told my coworker, she just really pissed me off. And he's like, yeah, that was weird. You made the hairs on my back of my neck stand up. He's like, that was really awkward. Da, da, da. So, long story short, I was like ticked off, and I was like, you know what? I need to talk to her about that conversation because that was not okay. And because I'm a nurse, I know how to advocate for others, and I definitely want to advocate for myself. So I called her. She didn't answer. Called her again. She didn't answer. So she was gone for the day. So that leads me to the next day. But I was steaming. I was pissed the hell off. May 15th, 28 and 5. So I got my glucose tolerance test. It wasn't that bad. It's called Fresh Test. and it's like lemon mint. And they mix it up for you, and it literally tastes like lemonade. Like, it was so good. Because you know how people always say, like, your test is always gross? And I was just like, this is really good. I was surprised because I was looking at it like, I don't want to drink this. It tastes really good. And we waited an hour. We met with the midwife. I met with Tammy this time. She was nice. I heard good things about her. She was like polite. She was nice. She was informative. And they took my blood, and I continued to have really bad heartburn that day. So what was exciting about that day? What was exciting about that day was I got to see my baby 3D. It was really cool. She wasn't really having it though because her face, first of all, she's head down. She's been head down since I was like 20 weeks or more. Like more probably. Yeah. Like since I was like 16 weeks. Like she's been head down. She likes it down there. I don't know. She just likes to be head down. And she like, so when she first got on, it was so cute. She had her feet in her hands and her mouth. And we're like, girl, and Blake was like, how does she have her feet and her hands all the way in her mouth? I'm like, well, babies are really flexible. So it was cute. And they kept shaking her, trying to like move her so we could see her face. But she had her face burrowed in my placenta. My placenta is anterior, which means that my placenta is on the front side of my belly. So like instead of being like on the top or being low or being in the back, it's on the front. And she had her face burrowed into my placenta. So whenever she tried to get like a shot of her face, it was like smooshed into the placenta so you couldn't really see her face. I don't know why my throat is like dry. So if you look at the pictures that I'm probably gonna share here, see all this like extra like tissue around her face? That tissue is my placenta. Because that's like them trying to push her head back. And she's just like, there was points where her face was frowning, like, what are you doing? There was times where she like would open one eye and like look. She was probably thinking, who goes there? I was like, oh look, her eyes are opening. She has some pictures where like one ear was pointed. And I was like, is she gonna have pointy ears? But the other one wasn't pointed. So I'm like, is one ear pointed, one's not? Or is that just the imaging? I don't know. It was really, people were like, who has pointy ears? I don't got pointy ears. You don't got pointy ears. She has like the most voluptuous little lips. They're so pouty. It's so funny because some of my coworkers were like, well, you have very like full lips. I'm like, it's because I'm black. Y'all saying that, right? Like, but no, hers are like really pouty. Trying to figure out whose nose she has. I can't really tell. I feel like it's a little bit of a combination between Blake and I's. She definitely has a narrow bridge, but it's a little, it looks to me a little wider than mine. I can't really tell. It's a distinguished nose, it seems like to me, but I'm not really sure. So we'll see when she's born. She's got like, I think she's gonna have pretty like large eyes, but hopefully they're really pretty. Apparently we could also see her hair on her head. Like there was like this like gray area and she was telling us like that's hair. I'm like, oh my God, she has hair already. And so, yeah, she was so cute. And I was just like, oh my God. But I just also was like, whose baby is this? Because I couldn't really, like she didn't look like anyone in particular. Her lips to me reminded me of my dad's lips when he was a baby. My mom and my Aunt Lisa were like, oh, she looks like Blake, but I mean, it's really hard to say. I feel like she looks more like him than me at this time because I don't know. It's hard to say. I won't know until she's born. I can see like the full face in person, 3D, 4D, real life, 5D, whatever you want to call it. I hope she's just beautiful. I do hope she looks like me though. And yeah, so that was really exciting to see that. My mom came down to see it too. May 16th, 28 and 6. I worked today. I worked that day. And I got a phone call from my midwifery. And I was like, why are they calling me? Because if they call you, something's wrong. I was like, so I answered the phone. And I got my HIV test done, my RPR. RPR is like testing for syphilis. I got, what else I got tested? I think, I also got CBC. So like my hemoglobin levels and stuff like that, make sure they're good. So my hemoglobin's good. It was like 11.7, which is pretty good for a pregnant girl. Because I've been eating my spinach and eating my meat, my red meat. And obviously, but I don't have HIV. I don't have syphilis, so those were fine. But they told me I failed my GGT test. My glucose tolerance test, I failed it. I failed it. I was so mad. I started crying. I was like holding back the tears, like, no. That was like, okay, so what does that mean? You gotta take the 3 hour. I'm like, oh, they're like, we don't do the 3 hour here, so you have to go to the lab. So I gotta take that nasty ass orange syrupy drink. Oh my God. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I gotta drink that nasty shit. And then for end of the 3 hour test, I'm like, okay, what if I fail that? They were like, oh, well, then we'll just monitor. I'm like, does that mean I can't come to midwifery anymore? They're like, no, you will. We'll just be monitoring your blood sugar throughout your pregnancy. I'm like, and we'll monitor you with your diet. Basically, that means taking my blood sugar 3 times a day. 4 times really, because I gotta take a fasting. So in the morning when I wake up before I eat, I have to take my blood sugar with my fingers. I'm freaking hurt. Lance, it's fucking hurt. Poking your finger every day freaking hurts. So I had to do it when I was a medical assistant. To like, we had to practice on each other, and that shit freaking hurts. You gotta do it 2 hours postprandial after your breakfast, 2 hours postprandial after your lunch. Like, this is nursing terminology, sorry. You gotta basically take your blood sugar 2 hours after you eat every meal. And I like to snack. Oh, I'm like, oh my God, please let me pass. So I made a vow, and what's crazy is I ate cake that morning to celebrate taking the test. I was like, I'm gonna have some strawberry shortcake because I took my test so I can eat whatever I want now. I failed it. So I was like, oh, fuck. So now I have to like, I was like, you know what? No carbs or very, very, very low carbs. So I had a strawberry shortcake cake, and I was like, I guess I should enjoy this because I'm not having no more sweets for the rest of the week until I take my test. So I scheduled my appointment for Wednesday, which I'll be 29 and 5, I think. So I scheduled my test for then. So I'm like, okay, a week from now. And I vowed no more carbs. So I have been eating like healthier, like no rice. Like I'm not allowed to eat any rice, anything that's like starchy, any like complex sugars, like carbs, like starches, rice, breads. Not allowed to eat it. Any simple sugars, candy, cake, brownies, whatever. Not allowed to have it. The only sugar I'm allowed to have is I'm allowed to have fructose, which is like in between a complex carb and a simple carb because it's more natural. And so I also told myself like the day before, like Tuesday of next week, that if I that I'm not allowed to have even sugar. Like I'm not allowed to eat any sugar. I'm not eating sugar. I'm not allowed to eat any fruit. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna eat. Beef? I don't know, meat all day. Like no sweets, nothing carb at all. I'm gonna be keto 24 hours before, or like 48 hours before I take that test. Because I'm not playing. I need to pass that test. Not trying to take my sugar 3 times a day. But so, and I cried. I started crying at work, and my coworkers were like, it's fine, it's okay. I failed my test too. You know the girl in that room, she failed her test too. And I'm just like, yeah, but I just thought I was gonna be fine. Because I don't have like diabetes in my family. And they're like, you don't have diabetes. You failed by 3 points. My numbers were 153. The cutoff is 150. It's a pass or fail. I was like, I know. But I was like crying. I was so upset. Okay. So anyway, May 17th, 29 weeks. Still eating low carb. It's hard. Working today, had to skip the block party. We had it was like hospitalist day or something like that. So we had a block party where they gave it, like they had churros, they had a funnel cake, they had all kinds of bready stuff and stuff I couldn't eat because I'm like, I can't eat any of this stuff. Or pork, which I had vowed to I would not eat any pork while I was pregnant. So I couldn't eat anything. So I went downstairs. I got a hamburger from the cafeteria without the bun. And I ate all the condiments that come with a hamburger. So that's my life. Anyway, until at least I pass this GTT test because I ain't got time. And if I fail it, I'll be like, nah, you gotta take it again. You gotta take it again. Like, not taking my sugars 3 times a day, damn it. So anyway, that's life. But anyway, one last thing. Ellie. So this is Ellie. No, not for you. Chase is like me. And they recorded the baby's heartbeat. So this is her heartbeat. And Ellie. So cute. So is my baby's heartbeat. Oh, I might end up getting a bee and putting it a little, because there's like a little thing inside, and putting the bee in there. But I think Blake picked this one out, so I was like, okay, fine. And it's gray, and it matches the gray aspects of the room, because you can see the yellow and the gold, but there's also gray accents in the room, so it kind of brings it together. So you might leave it. Anyways, that's 29 weeks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's hold up. I know this is a hair channel. I know a lot of people are probably like, girl, when are you gonna get back to your hair? I know. I just haven't been like motivated to post hair stuff because there's so much pregnancy content that I want to get out. Like if you don't know, I've been posting like a lot of, like, you know how some people do a pregnancy shoot and they do one pregnancy shoot? Girl, I've been doing a pregnancy shoot every week, okay? So I'm busy. And then I have these videos that I want to get because these are the things I want to remember, or I want my daughter to have to think something to look back at. My daughter. These are things I want her to be able to look back at and be like, wow, this is what happened to my mom, or like when she was a kid, and maybe she'll look back and like see week by week what happened with me. I don't know. Whatever. I like to document my life for myself too. So, and that's how my YouTube channel started. So I know some of you guys might be annoyed that I'm, or just kind of like, when are you gonna post the hair stuff? Because we want to see the hair stuff too. I'm sorry, but right now it's just about pregnancy. I will get back to hair eventually. Right now it's about pregnancy. But anyway, I will show a little snippet of my hair. I did these like mini braids, and I put these like little gems. I did like a swirly part here, which I thought was kind of cool. And I put these like gems because, I got to be a little creative. And I did these mini braids. There's 90 of these hoes. There's 90 of these messes in my hair. And I feel like from far away, it kind of looks like straight hair with like little crinkles on the end. I don't know. But anyway, it's long now. Like, yeah, it's long. It hangs long, as you guys may or may not know. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know my hair is pretty long. These are the ends. I got hang time on you, girl. Hang time. My hair is pretty long. It's like mid-back length now. And people keep saying, oh, it's pregnancy hormones. What's that pregnancy? Is that pregnancy? I don't think it is, because my hair grows fast, or grows, like, I retain length really easily anyway. The thing different is that I have not been cutting my hair. I have, like, you know how I get to a certain length and I always just like big chop or mini chop or cut it off or whatever, and you guys are like, well, I thought you were gonna grow it out. Well, I have not been cutting it. So I've been just getting my regular trims, and my hair's just been retaining length like it would do if I didn't cut my hair all those years ago. My hair probably would have been in my butt by now if I didn't cut my hair all those years ago. But yeah, so I just been like letting it grow out and retaining length and keeping it healthy. So that's my hair.
This is Silent Noise.